Hey, true crime community. I am coming at you here on Sunday afternoon. I think it's about 4 o'clock maybe. And oh my goodness, last night, Zav Girl had an 8-hour episode that I would say is entirely worth every minute of it if you have a chance to watch it. Like I mentioned before, you can watch them at double speed. Um, and then you can slow it down if you're missing things. Personally, I find it harder to listen to anything at more than like 1.5 the normal rate. But man, after she closed her show, Ryan Upchurch did a 2.5 hour show this morning, starting at about 5:30, and he had been in on her show the last 2 hours, I think. Steve from SF Investigates had come on at the last couple hours, but he didn't stay that long. Um, and then Upchurch invited Zav over to his, and then she got tired. I don't blame her. But man, this stuff is on fire. And I'm so grateful that I've been able to keep up with a lot of it. I haven't been able to keep up with all of it, and there's way more to cover. But again, I want to try to give you guys a nutshell. I can't do it all right now because, I've got a life too, right? We all do. But I just wanted to give you a preview of some of the things that have been covered. So most poignantly, yesterday was poor Kylie's celebration of life service for her family and friends. And, oh, so heartbroken for them. So heartbroken for her. If this was an accident, it's still so flippin' tragic, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And if it wasn't an accident, it's even worse. Either way, it's awful. And people being shifty and shady and not truthful is just as awful. In some ways, more so. Betrayal is not something that any of us like to experience. If you haven't experienced it yourself, you're one lucky person. But for Kylie's family, losing her, nothing's going to bring her back. But if they're being betrayed by her friends that they think of as their own family, that just is too much. And it makes me wonder if some family members are in denial that this could be more than just a simple straightforward accident. Denial is something that we use to protect ourselves, and it's definitely part of the grieving process. I covered this the other day. You've got, usually with denial or with grieving, your first response is anger. Or actually, no, first is denial, then anger, then the bargaining, then the sorrow, and then the fifth part is the acceptance. And then next, you hope to find meaning in this tragedy, right? If you can do all of the above, that's the healthiest way to grieve. If you have trouble doing any of it or part of it, it's going to make it even harder. It can take years, it can take a lifetime, and people can go through all of those phases all at once within the first few moments. No joke. People always say there's no wrong way to grieve, there's no right way to grieve. Everybody does it differently. It is important to grieve. It's important to be real and to be in touch with your feelings. And if you're not, it's going to make it even harder for you and the people around you. So my little spiel on that. As I've mentioned before, my background is mental health and creative art therapy, to be more exact or precise. I've done a lot of court work, and I've and my specialty has been post-traumatic stress disorder. So I do know what I'm talking about. I have people in my family that are law enforcement and first responders and military. So, there's a lot that I can understand and convey for other folks, but, it's up to each of us to understand things the way we understand it. And like with law enforcement, for instance, it's one thing to know the law. It's another thing to know how to apply the law. And then it's another thing to be able to explain the law. Those are all different aspects. And it can be very mysterious even to people in law enforcement. They're constantly having to study and keep up and sharpen their skills and just stay abreast of the most current cases across the country. So on that, I want to say that it is really looking to me like there's foul play. It always has looked to me like there was foul play. I don't want there to be foul play. I don't want there to be betrayal. I don't want anybody to have to spend their life in prison or spend their life afraid of getting found out and going to prison, because actually that can kind of be worse, Criminals that get busted often say what a huge relief it is to get busted and to tell the truth. Whether it's been a month, a week, a year, 20 years, it's a lot to be dishonest with yourself and with other people and to be living a lie. And it will tear your mental health and your physical health apart. So I don't recommend it for anybody. The people that are best at it are cold-blooded killers. People that are true sociopaths are going to be able to hurt other people and not care, not care at all. Just be completely detached. No empathy, zero. And that's a very scary thing to be. So, I also hope that these people that may be involved, if there are people involved, that they're not sociopaths, because that's no cakewalk either, There's no easy way out. It's good old Tom Petty song. There's no easy way out. You've got to live your life. You've got to speak your truth. You've got to be yourself and be real and do the best you can and admit to mistakes, however horrible those mistakes might be, and whatever the consequences of paying for those mistakes might be. Nothing is as bad as living in fear and just not being your true self. I mean, there's nothing else in the world that matters other than being your true self, right? So I was devastated to see that Kylie's mother had a message that she directed towards the media, towards the camera, that was really insulting towards anybody that was interested in trying to help Kylie's case for justice. And, I don't take offense because I'm not a big high-profile YouTuber, but I took offense for Zav Girl because I actually saw it on her show, and I was thinking, man, this woman does so much for so many people. She's so honest. She's so straightforward. She's, putting it all out there, just basically, standing naked in front of everybody, metaphorically. And then this woman slamming people like her. And I understand this woman slamming people like her in that situation. My goodness, of course I do. And if you're gonna put yourself out there as a YouTube person or, in the public arena, you've got to thicken your skin, because you're always gonna have trolls, whether it's cyber trolls or real life trolls. If you're a public figure, people will come after you. And if you're successful, people will come after you. So, Zav looked so sad, and I was glad that she was just like right there with it. And she said, oh, gee, now I feel terrible. Although at the same time, I wanted to reach out and say, girl, don't feel bad. You know that you're doing it with good intentions. You know that you're doing this for the right reason. And you have a huge audience, and you can have an impact on the case potentially. And so this was kind of in the first couple of hours of her show that was only going to be a couple hours, but it just kept going on and on and on. She was just showing us all this great information that she'd been cyber sleuthing. And then Steve from SF Investigates dropped in. I gotta say, I was not impressed at all. I was disgusted. He was extremely unprofessional. I don't know if he is on something, but this is Saturday night, kind of in the middle of the night. He just wasn't right. The things he was saying, there's a phrase for that I learned in the world of psychology, what I like to call psychobabble. He's talking out of both sides of his mouth. You can't have it both ways. Just like the Placer County Sheriff can't say that the allegations of sexual misconduct are false and without merit, and at the same time, he's literally admitting to having done this, right? You can't have it both ways. It's one or the other. You can't say those both things in the same sentence, the same paragraph, the same anything. They don't go together. And to me, it felt like Steve was doing that. He was saying, oh, yeah, definitely an accident, and then he's saying, oh, but, the suspicion and the this and the that and the other thing. And I just thought, what? Is this guy getting paid by somebody to come out and bat for them? And I suspect that he very well may be. And somebody also said that what he does for money, for work, is that he's a fashion photographer. And I thought, my God, I mean, what? And then he's got this picture right here of this like hot chick that kind of looks like Kylie. I haven't taken a really good look at it. But one of the other YouTubers that I looked at, his thing really quick, what was it? It was something Lake. I wrote it down. Oh, man. Living Lake Time. Check him out. I just checked him out a little bit. He looked pretty good to me. But the thing that he said about that picture is he was just like, ugh, does that girl know that this guy has that picture right there? And I thought that is a really astute point, Lake dude. So, I'm still a huge Ryan Upchurch supporter. I don't agree with everything he says, and my God, I don't agree with everything my husband says. I don't agree with everything I say, all right? That's okay. I don't have a problem with him saying things that I would never say or that I think aren't good to say. He's his own person. He can do whatever he wants, and I really think his heart's in the right place and that he's being very thoughtful and just doing things in an unorthodox way, which is what you have to do when you're dealing with criminals, okay? You cannot be all like kosher and, polite and forthright. When you're dealing with criminals, you've got to go down to their level, like you got to get in the mud with the pigs, basically. But on that note, let me just say that I'm going to try to put together a very comprehensive video, maybe tonight, maybe not till tomorrow, just to like recap and get everybody caught up on the last like 24 or 48 hours, because it is so much. And I know that most people don't have the time and attention that I'm able to dedicate to this. I mean, really, I don't even have the time and attention that I'm able to dedicate to this, but somehow I do it anyway. So, Upchurch, keep on keeping on. Zav girl, you rocketh. And Lake dude, what was his name? Check him out. He's a real small channel, much like myself. Living Lake Time. So I just saw a couple of his things, and I'll go back and look at more of them later. I just cannot express my appreciation for Zav Girl and Upchurch and other truth seekers like them. I know there's a lot of good ones out there. This case has caused me to take a second look at some of the creators that I used to really enjoy. You cannot just take things at face value, like that leotard. That freaking leotard that was found on the other side of the lake on the 10th, I think. I think it was the 10th, maybe the 8th. Again, I got that written down too, but I might need my glasses. Yeah, I'll have to get my glasses on and address that later. Anyway, I tried to get new glasses yesterday without glare, but they said that they can't do that, so I don't know why. That's ridiculous. But I haven't had glasses long, so I'm not used to them, and it drives me nuts when I'm taking them on and off when I'm trying to talk to you guys, so I apologize if that's a distraction. I'm trying to stay focused. I'm trying to nail it down. You know, I feel like SF Investigates is the new Ronnie. All right, I'll just wrap it up right there. I feel like we got a brand new Ronnie, Red Flag Ronnie. I don't know what's up with that dude, but he's just not straightforward, in my opinion. So we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.